Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Real Talk with Brian Poduska. I'm Lyndon Wilson. I am the co-host of Real Talk. I'm going to introduce Brian here in a second. I am the creator of The Difference. We are a digital media and video branding company. We run this like a television station, broadcasting different small businesses and entrepreneurs, local businesses, real estate industry professionals. And what our purpose is with The Difference is to help each and every person out there that's a small business owner bring more attention to their business, humanize versus commercialize their branding, and reach the people around their communities so that they can grow and expand their business. And we started this about a year ago on a radio show, and that has expanded in now where we have actually 13 shows with different hosts like Brian. So I'm going to check and see if Brian is ready now. I hope that he is. I always do this a little short, but there he is. What's up, Brian?
Not much, Lennon. How are you doing, my man?
I am doing well. Another day, 4 or 5 more shows. So always enjoying it.
Well, awesome. I am unfortunately in the middle of multitasking here. I've got the wrong show that I'm sharing, so that's all right. I'll get it figured out as we go. That's all good.
Yeah, the technology, that's, and we talk about that sometimes because I have had people that go, "Why are you always looking down? You act like you're not paying attention on the show." I said, "Look, I'm running a computer with all the bells and the whistles in the background. I'm also trying to get connected on all the Facebook watch parties and live to make sure that the audiences that we have, which I don't know if I said this earlier, we crossed the 500,000 mark viewers back in November. So, which is just, it's phenomenal to me. And I give credit to you guys for the shows, but also just the power of social media. When you can bring together the right community of people and share your audiences, the exposure is just phenomenal on what we can do. And it's, being an entrepreneur for 30 years, it's all my biggest challenge was just the consistency in marketing and branding. It was tough. It was tough. You don't always know, what your budget's going to be 6 months down the road. And so sometimes it's hard to commit to those things that you need to be doing consistently. And that's where I wanted to create the difference so that we can come up with a formula. We can come up with and build a community of entrepreneurs, local business owners, small business owners, independent contractors, whatever it may be, where we're all working together to promote each other, bring out the highlights of who we are, not just what we do. And Brian, you're doing a great job with that. You've got a great show today, great guest. I'm excited about that.
Well, thank you, London. And yeah, I mean, I give a lot of the credit to you, and the difference was kind of your brainchild and your baby, and I think together as a group, we've done a great job collectively making it bigger than what the original vision was, and I'm excited about where we're headed. Here to hear 500,000 views. I mean, heck, how the heck do you reach 500,000 people in less than a year without one, great content, and two, all the different platforms that we're on. So kudos to you for getting that all the logistics that none of us really know how to navigate. I'll give the award to you on that one. Good job on
Well,
that.
I've said this before. It's like running and trying to tie my shoes at the same time because 2 years ago I had no idea I was going to be doing this. So I'm learning each and every day. It's kind of been funny. You mentioned this, Brian, where we originally started and what we all kind of were in agreement of what we were going to do with that radio show. This whole thing's taken on a life of its own. And it's actually, I think we're all learning each and every day, each and every episode, the impact that we can have, how we can help and serve more people, not just our clients and our the consumer and the people that do business with us, but just the other businesses that we are associated with, and just the small business community itself. And we're kind of just we're all rolling with it. We're all just almost adapting each and every month to the opportunities that we're seeing that's in front of us. And you guys are doing a great job, as I said, bringing quality guests on, bringing more people into the difference that want to be a part of this community and get the word out about what they do and help their sphere of small business owners as well. So it's a community effort, that's for sure.
Indeed, indeed. Well, as you mentioned, Lennon, we've got some great guests on the show today. This is Real Talk with me, Brian Poduska. So I am owner of Real Property Management Focus, where we focus on your real estate investments. So we are a full service property management company, specializing in working with investors who really realize the value of having property management, who really don't want anything to do with their investments other than to get a return and not have to deal with the day-to-day management of that. So we do that. We also work with investors on the front end to try to find properties that make the most financial sense through them. We have some tools that we use called Wealth Optimizer is one of them. As I said, we're full service, so we can handle your purchase, your sale, disposition, and obviously the management piece in between. So that is us in a nutshell. Look us up. The information is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Phone number is 469-820-0088. You can find me on social media and on Facebook. We've got a website, www.realpmfocus.com. So look us up if you're looking for property management or even thinking about just getting into the real estate investment game. If you have $100,000 or more of equity in your home, we've got a great program to help get you started and then really grow exponentially from there based on what your plans and goals are. So that is us in a nutshell, Real Property Management Focus. But what I do want to do is bring on our guests today. We have three awesome business owners and representatives for the businesses that they work with. And the overarching theme today is really helping people in need. Obviously, I don't need to talk about 2020. We know the dumpster fire that it is. Luckily, at least the calendar is about to flip and go into 2021. Depending on who you ask and what side of potentially the political spectrum you may be on, you may have a different outlook than others. But I think the general consensus is we're still going to have some struggles going into 2021 and hopefully get out of those as quickly as possible. But the reason I asked the guests to be on the show today is they all have services and businesses that can help people in a time of need. So as we're looking forward to 2021, at these times, especially if you're a small business owner, you may be living day to day, you may be living week to week, and you may not know where to turn if you're up against the financial wall that you're not sure, you can't get money from your typical banks. This is, I've got an opportunity here for Laura to talk about how you can get some bridge funding in certain industries and businesses that are in need of some funding. I've got Tony Gibson, who is a CPA. He's the founder and CEO of MMG Tax Corporation. I guess it's an LLC. And Tony's going to come on and talk about his business and how, you may be in a situation in 2020, put you in a situation where you may need some tax help, specifically with negotiations with the IRS and getting, tax resolution, preparation, bookkeeping, all that stuff is what Tony handles. And then I've got Michael Martin from Dalworth, who, not specific to the year per se, but certainly his company Dalworth is poised and ready to help you in a situation where you may be in a pinch, especially in the real estate world. I personally have used Michael and Dalworth to work on a couple projects that we've had. One rather large one, a mold remediation situation that we're now finally through, but they helped us weather that storm really well. So without further ado, let's bring them on the screen and we'll talk through and meet with everybody. Hey guys.
Hey
there.
Hello.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us on the show today. You guys have a ton to offer. Number one, you're all great people. But number two,
are we?
Well, it depends on the day, but generally speaking, I'll say yes. So I wanted to just give you guys the opportunity to talk through your businesses, introduce yourselves, talk through your businesses, and really put it out there for those who may be in need. As you know, we're going through the shit show that is 2020 and probably going to be the start of 2021. So And this will be kind of an open discussion as well, but I'll give each of you guys a bit of a segment to highlight what your business is and how you can be reached and how you can help folks. So with that, let's start with Laura first. Laura, just tell us about your business in general. I know it started with more of a laser focus as far as industry goes, but you guys, like any good business, has learned to pivot and expand your clientele base as the need has arisen. So just talk a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your business.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Laura Clayton with Era Financial. I am the Vice President of Sales for the DFW market, and I am a senior loan consultant. So before COVID-19 hit all of the world, right, we really focused on offering customizable loan solutions to the restaurant hospitality industry. Now that this pandemic has kind of taken over everything, as you can imagine, we had to pivot our business to be able to provide services to not only the restaurant hospitality industry, but now we have kind of opened up to all kinds of different businesses that need help, because at this point, all of y'all know this, there's not really a business that hasn't been impacted by COVID in one way or another. So being at Era Financial gives me the opportunity to be able to work with business owners that are really struggling right now. And on the flip side, we are seeing businesses that are able to take advantage of this situation. I mean, me and Brian have spoken about this in the past, but over the summer, we had quite a few restaurateurs that were in a good position to be able to purchase additional properties to be able to open up, to more areas here in DFW and across the nation. So that's kind of what we're focusing on, is helping businesses through this. And with the stimulus package that's happening right now in Congress, we don't have a final answer of when this is going to happen. They have until next week to make a decision. And if nothing gets passed, we won't have another stimulus package out to businesses until February, best case scenario.
Right. And that's the fear. If I'm a restaurant owner, we're lucky enough that Real Property Management has at least been shielded or sheltered a little bit from the chaos, because we don't depend on people walking in the door every day. We have our other challenges brought about by the pandemic, but the real estate industry in general has fairly weathered it fairly well. So your key clientele originally restaurateurs. I know you had medical facilities, which was your target clientele. Tell us a little bit about folks who may be in that situation where their business was really successful, or they were just starting a business from either a restaurateur or whatever business it might be. What differentiates your product versus trying to go to a bank and get a loan and get denied?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are different from a bank. We will work with credit profiles as low as 551. There is not a bank in the nation right now that will work with credit scores that low. Typically, a bank profile is going to be looking at least a 680 credit score or above. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to require that you have some sort of collateral. What sets us apart is I'm able to do loans with no collateral, limited credit. You are not required to have a 680 credit score. And I'm working with business owners that have seen a steady decrease in business, unfortunately, where a lot of banks aren't working with those folks. We're able to help them out while they're going through this tough time. So we are more of an alternative source to banking right now. And what I've been telling my clients is, look, with what's going on with where we're at in this pandemic and with bankers right now not being able to lend, right now I'm able to offer a solution until their banks are opening back up and able to lend to them again. So we're a great bridge financing option.
Oh, that's awesome, because I think people are just at the point where they may need that lifeline, and the traditional bank or institution isn't going to give them that lifeline that they need right now. So, no, I think that's fantastic, and that's one of the reasons that I wanted to get your offering socialized out there, because if you are in need and you do need some sort of a bridge loan, and you may not be set up as well as a traditional bank would like you to be. check out Laura. How do they get a hold of you, Laura? What's the best and easiest way? And I know there's a million different ways, but tell our listeners how to get a hold of you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I see my contact information scrolling below. So you can give me a call. That's my cell phone number there, or you can reach me by email, or I am on social media. LinkedIn is probably the best platform to be able to find me.
Yeah, Laura is a LinkedIn professional. She is a guru. She's helped our networking group through learning the ins and outs of Sales Navigator on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you need to get a hold of her, she's definitely locatable through LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Anything else you want to say? Parting words? Obviously, this is an open discussion, so it's not like you're parting. But anything you want to say before we move on?
I mean, absolutely. Right now, if your business is in a position where you really do need some capital to get through the next year, or even the next month, I mean, that's the reality of where businesses are right now. I mean, I am here to help you. And if for whatever reason I can't make something work for your business because of industry or where you're at or time in business, I have so many contacts that are able to help you right now, that when you're in a position that you can't wait for financing. So feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help anyone. We do this nationwide. I'm not just specific to Dallas-Fort Worth. So feel free to reach out.
Awesome. And yeah, I'm glad you said that, because you are very well connected, and you're the kind of person that will, if you can't help directly, you will definitely put somebody in touch. I've seen it in action. So yeah, thanks for mentioning that.
Of course.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that, Laura. We're going to transition now over to Tony. So again, looking at the overarching theme of what we've got going here as far as, helping folks out, Tony is well situated in with his business to do just that. Tony, I'll let you talk about your business. I do want to say, if anybody is looking for voiceover and a good radio voice, Tony is the man. We recently, like 15, 20 minutes ago, just told him that he should go into side business on radio, because he has the best radio voice. So he's going to make us sound like amateurs, which we are, but he could definitely be a professional.
Brian already have a lot of work for him, so I'd love
You're
to have him
making me
do some
blush.
stuff for
You're
him.
making me blush right now.
Good thing your resolution isn't so good.
Hey,
all right,
well,
take it away, man. Tell us about your business.
So I am Tony Gibson. I am owner and founder of MMG Tax Group, and I do want to correct you just a little bit. So I am not a CPA. I'm actually an enrolled agent. Most people are like going, what the heck is an enrolled agent? Some people say, are you like a CPA with a gun or what? It's like, no. What I am is that I'm federally licensed with the IRS to represent taxpayers in front of the IRS. So I can represent taxpayers in all 50 states. So it doesn't matter. I've been doing this for probably about 20 years now. I actually started off because I'm a mama's boy. My mom was an accountant, and I just followed her around everywhere. So then I just naturally gravitated towards taxes. I've actually been doing my parents' taxes since I was 18, and I'm about to be 45 now. So you can just do the math there. I'm formerly with Ernst & Young, if you're familiar with them. They're one of the top 4 accounting firms in the nation, and I actually used to do trust and estate tax for them. What does that mean? I pretty much did tax returns for high net worth banks for trust and estates is what I did. What my business focus on right now is IRS tax resolution. What is that? I help people solve their IRS tax debt. So I recently actually today I woke up pretty early and actually had to call the IRS at 7 a.m. this morning because I just got a new client and they're a real estate business. And guess what? They have tax issues. They probably owe, give or take, maybe 300,000, give or take, right? However, what they don't realize is that they have a lot of options, and people also don't realize is that the IRS, or you as a taxpayer, you actually have rights in the front of the IRS. But if you continue to ignore notices, because they do send you notices, you actually lose those rights. And a lot of people don't realize that. I got clients that'll come to me and they don't even open up their mail. And I'm like, you don't even open? right? Because they're scared. And I think all of us are scared sometimes when we ever see the IRS coming through. It's like, oh crap, what the hell is this, right? So they kind of just throw it there. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me, but I get it.
So they open the mail that, you know, says Marriott Vacations, but they don't open the ones that say IRS on them.
Pretty much, and that's the worst. And that's the worst thing that you can do. Actually, you just need to open up. Why is that? Because most of the time, the IRS is just looking for information that you didn't provide. What people don't realize is that the IRS actually audits every tax return, but it's not a person doing it. It's computers, it's robots doing it all. So they're just matching things up, and if something doesn't match, it kicks it out and sends you a notice. So most of the time, it's nothing. Most of the time.
Well, I remember you telling some stories, you know, in our Wednesday networking group about, you know, very small little technicalities that have potentially cost people thousands and thousands of dollars that you were able to catch right up front and set it straight.
Yeah, there was one case. Actually, the reason why I got into this is because one of my friends actually had an issue with the IRS. He's been dealing with it for probably about 2 years. And they were pretty much looking for he owed them potentially probably about 30, maybe 40 grand, right? However, he didn't owe it to them, but he was trying to explain that to him. It was actually his financial advisor company that actually messed up. But he kept on sending letters. Unfortunately, he was not very nice in his letter, so therefore the IRS was not very happy to deal with him. So I pretty much got on the case. I pretty much talked to the IRS for maybe it was a 2-hour phone call. I got 30 grand wiped out because he did all the work initially. I just had to make a phone call. There was another one that the client hired me, and they owed probably about $250,000. Why did they do that? Because they did their taxes by TurboTax, and they forgot to check a box. So I got the case. I looked at their tax return. I noticed oh, you just forgot to do that. I gave the IRS a call once I got all the information, of course, and I said, this is what they did. This is what happened. And the IRS goes, that's it? I go, yeah, that's it. It's like, okay, 2-hour phone call, $250,000 gone. So
you charge an hourly rate based on what you save. So that you just made your salary.
Actually, I don't charge hourly. Right. So I actually charge based on my services. So what I usually do, just full disclosure, because I'm pretty sure people have heard, you know, tax resolution on the radios and different things like that. Right. So usually, and this is across the board usually. So you're looking at if someone's going to do a case, for example, I get a case, it's always going to be a flat fee. My flat fee is usually in between $1,000 to $1,500. Right. So what does that mean? I can go back and look at 20 to 30 years of tax information. Pretty much. So not only am I handling your situation, but I'm also looking for other opportunities in prior years to see if maybe the IRS made a mistake, or maybe you may have an issue to where you can get some interest and penalties abated, maybe. So I'm looking at that as well. But then I'm also looking at your current tax return to see if there's opportunity because sometimes there may have just been a box that wasn't checked, right? And it's just it's kind of a no-brainer. But what I also do is I also teach my clients what the heck is actually going on, because most people don't even know what their tax return looks like and how it even works.
Right.
So for me, I try to educate them as well at the same time.
Well, yeah. So, you know, a little nugget I took out of that. So for a $1,500 fee, and I'm generalizing here, I'm sure it's probably different for what you did for the client that saved 250 grand, but you know, pretty good return on investment if you spend $1,500 to save 250.
It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Plus you can't put a price on peace of mind either, because pretty much the client no longer has to talk to the IRS. They just have to talk to me. So anytime they get a phone call, anything like that, it's my number that the IRS calls. I actually got a call the other day. I've had a case for probably about 1.5 years, and the IRS finally called back and said, hey, we accept your offer. And the thing is, the client actually did all the work. I was just the power of attorney for the IRS to communicate with. So I also do that as well, right? So I can kind of be behind the scenes. If the client wants to do some of the legwork and not have to pay up so much, and they want to do the legwork, and I'm just a consultant on it, I can do that as well. So it just all depends on the situation, to be honest.
Well, it's funny you say that, because in property management, you're kind of that go between the landlord or owner and the tenants, and sometimes it's difficult, sometimes it's not. But you are either that voice of reason or the educated voice of reason in between the two different parties. So I can sympathize and empathize with you on that front. I don't have as soothing a voice as you, though, so I don't know if I can, smooth the waters as well as you with the IRS.
Maybe that's the key here.
Just remember this: the key is to smile over the phone, because most of the time everyone can tell when you're smiling over the phone. I actually used to do telephone support for a tax software company, so I had to listen to accountants all day just complain about everything. However, once I started smiling over the phone and not taking it personal and let them get it all out, of course, then I could solve their situation. So it's the same thing. I'm just talking to accountants, but they just happen to be IRS agents. So I have a lot of fun with it.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that, because it's a daunting task. So if you can have fun with it, then you take that burden off of the person who needs it, and that's a great thing, especially, like I said, with the overarching stuff and all the undercurrent that's going on with 2020 and struggling businesses. Your services are going to be needed more and more. So, no, that's awesome, and it's great that you're passionate about it too, because that's a hard job to do if you're not passionate about it.
Absolutely,
I got a
quick
question for Tony. With given COVID and all that's happened, and I know with the CARES Act and everything like that, there's a huge write-off of that. Are you anticipating anything coming up in 2021 for 2020 that may be unique write-offs that people don't know about yet?
It's not necessarily unique write-offs. It's actually one of those things where people talk about that some small businesses got the PPP loan, right? And a lot of people got that. What they don't realize is, because Congress did it at the last minute, is that if they use that loan to pay their expenses, those expenses are not tax deductible. So therefore, that loan is now taxable if they get it forgiven. So what Congress is trying to do right now is hopefully, actually not necessarily Congress, it's actually some of the, you'll hear about the AICPA, which is the top CPA association. They're trying to lobby Congress to be like, hey, is this really what you intended to do? Because that's one of the biggest things right now, because I'm not sure how many people would have taken that money if you would have known that that you're going to get taxed on it. Because that wasn't the intention. That's one of the biggest ones. The other one you're going to see about, for individuals, they're saying $300 for charitable contributions. That's great, but that's kind of like giving $250 to teachers, right? As a deduction. It's like, thanks, but is that really going to help my tax situation? I guess it's better than nothing, but that's just me being a realist when I look at the math.
Right.
Yeah, I can speak to that joke of the tax deduction for teachers. My wife was one for 15 years, and she probably spent that threefold every year on her classroom supplies, and they give her
thousands.
Yeah.
Right, thousands, right?
No doubt. That was always a sore point in our household.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, Tony, thank you. Thank you for sharing about what you do. You do a lot of awesome stuff, and you do it with a kind heart and a passionate spirit. So if you need to get a hold of Tony, I know it's scrolling at the bottom, but Tony, give them your information so they can get a hold of you.
Sure. So my number is 214-210-0128. My email is info@mmgtaxgroup.com. MMG, so that's Mary Goodness, Tax, TAX, then group, GROUP.com. And I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. So as much as my back office marketing team helps me out, I'm trying to be everywhere. And you can also reach us at mngtaxgroup.com as well.
Awesome. Cool, man. Well, thanks for that. We're going to transition to Michael here shortly, but what I want to do before we do that is bring in another awesome show host of The Difference. Her name is Holly Haggard. I believe she's backstage. We're going to see if we can get her in here. We need our awesome
Holly, are you there?
I'm there. I'm here.
There she is. Okay, that's right. She's not joining us. She's joining us by voice only today because I know she was running around. So, Holly, thanks for jumping in. I appreciate you coming into the show. And I know you've had a little bit of experience with some tax help in the past. Tell us about that, and boost up Tony's services a little bit, and then more importantly, tell us about your show and what you might have coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I wanted to thank you, Tony, because what you do in your business helps so many people, and I'm the prime example of that. I went through it myself back in 2005, where I had back taxes that were owed, and it just got to the point where it was so overwhelming that it was almost daunting to wake up every day. And so whenever I worked with a tax service company back then, and they were able to reduce the amount that I owed for IRS taxes, down to like $3,500. And that completely changed everything about my life. It allowed me to, wake up and feel like I could accomplish something, and sometimes when we're young and dumb, we just kind of do things that we don't realize what the consequences may be. And it's just, once you grow up, not saying that everybody was like me, but once I grew up and realized, my responsibilities, that gave me a new sense of, well, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Just it gave me a new life, I guess. It allowed me to do things that I enjoyed doing without having that big weight on my shoulders. So anybody that has any kind of tax problems, reach out to Tony, because I'm telling you, it's not something that has to debilitate you. It's something that he can probably take care of for you very easily.
Awesome.
Thank you for that, by the way.
Absolutely.
That's good first person experience right there, Holly. So thank you for that. Tell us about your show. You're the good human out there. You have some awesome topics and messages in your show. So tell us a little bit about that and what you might have coming up here in the near future.
Yeah, so my show is every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Central. It's called the Good Human Series, and I talk to people about ways that we can lift each other up, ways that we can become better at what we do daily. I showcase small businesses to help build their business and bring awareness to who they are to help them. And then just, overall ways that we can be good humans and make a difference in the world. And so my whole point of my show is just helping other people and putting other people out there to provide their services and their products and bring awareness to them. If I can help somebody else, do well in their business, then that makes me feel good.
Well, and that's one of the things I love about you. And you might want to mention the fact that you also have a small little mortgage business that you do on the side. So that's your day job, and then you're helping humans one day at a time. Well.
I love what I do. I've done mortgages for 19 years, and I love it. It's been challenging this year, just not because there's a lack of business. It's been challenging because there's too much business, and it's a good problem to have, but it's also kind of hindered the customer service, I think. Not being able to close loans as fast as I used to, but it's just one of those things that we're going to have to get through, and I'm going to, keep pushing along. I've got a great company that I work for, Geneva Financial. The owner of the company was a loan officer, and he just didn't like the corporate world, and decided to open a company that was for loan officers and the client. And so he thinks of his loan officers as the client, and then the loan officers obviously have their clients. But it's a great company, and we're improving daily on turn times and everything. So I'm very blessed, very, very much so.
Awesome. Well, we know that you're very customer service oriented, and if there's any way to get it done, you're going to get it done. So look up Holly with Geneva Mortgage if you need a loan, and then obviously if you want to become a better human, check out her show. Holly, when are you on?
Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Central Time.
Awesome. So check that out. Holly, thanks for jumping in real quick. Appreciate
Before she goes, Brian, I want to jump in there real quick.
Okay.
Because Holly is just way too humble about her show, and she does promote so many people. Her heart is to help people. There was an organization that she helped create at the beginning of COVID called RVs for MDs, and it's when the medical community and the doctors needed to be quarantined away from their family but didn't want to stay in hotels. It's where you could donate your RV, pull it up to these doctors, nurses, medical communities, homes, and they could actually be closer to their family without having to expose their family. That's one thing she did. Another thing that she's done with her show, now the RVs for MDs wasn't on her show, but what she's done with the show is she's got a pretty deep connection, and this has really impacted me, and that's why I wanted to bring attention to it, because I knew about human trafficking. I knew how terrible it is. We all know how terrible it is, but my perception of it was it's way over there in those third world countries. And she has brought people on her show, some of them that can't reveal their identity because they're undercover, to talk about the horrors, but also the victories in this battle against human trafficking and child sex trafficking. And it's amazing that it's happening in our own neighborhoods right here. And she's helping bring so much more awareness to that. And I think that's really important, because I think there's a lot of people that are like I was, that we know it's terrible, but we don't realize that it's so very, very close, and that just bringing more awareness to it can be a catalyst to help get this thing under control. So I just wanted to say that about Holly, because she'll never say it about herself.
Thank you, Lyndon. Make me blush. You can't tell because I'm not on video. You guys have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Holly. Thanks again for jumping in. Have a wonderful weekend. All right, cool. Well, thanks to Holly for sharing some kind words about what she does on a weekly basis here with the Good Human series. I've gotten to know Holly pretty well over last year, and she is a very kind-hearted, warm-hearted person, and she's really taken her radio show in that overarching direction of just humanity, and it's awesome. So check her out on Wednesdays at 3. In the meantime, before we transition over to Michael, I'll let you talk about your business here shortly, Michael, but I did want to get a word in from our sponsor, who is Greg Holdberg with Liberator Health Insurance. He's the owner of Liberator Health Insurance. So as you may or may not know, the government deadline for signing up for marketplace programs was, I believe, a couple days ago. So Tuesday, the 15th. And what Greg's program is, it's completely different. It's outside of that whole setup. So if you did miss that deadline and still need health insurance, Greg can hook you up. He does not have a deadline. So I'll read a little bit about Liberator Health Insurance, and then I can talk about Greg a little bit. Liberator Health Insurance, they have plans that allow you to see any doctor, go to any hospital in or out of network. You can save 40 to 60% on your premiums. Liberator, as example, just insured a single mom with two kids with great benefits for under $330 a month. Now, the plans offer the largest PPO provider network in the United States. It covers hospitalizations, surgeries, doctor visits, preventative health screenings, teledoc, x-rays, MRIs, labs, emergency rooms, urgent care, you name it. It's pretty much covered by the program. So it's no different than any of the big name government programs out there. As an independent broker agency, Liberator works with some of the best insurance carriers in the country to get you the most coverage at an affordable monthly premium. And to get a hold of Greg, who is awesome, he's been on the show before, and his program truly is unique. It gives you the opportunity to shop around for the best coverage. You're not assigned a price. It has awesome tools that allow you to locate a provider and frankly give you the information to negotiate your own coverage costs. So that's why it's called Liberator. It kind of liberates you and frees you to manage your own healthcare. And to get a hold of Greg, you can give him a call or text him at 214-886-4688, or visit him at his website at www.liberatorhealthinsurance.com. His information is also scrolling at the bottom. So reach out to Greg if you miss that deadline, or heck, even if you sign up for a program that you don't think is applicable or good for you, Greg has a way to get out of that and get into his program. So look him up, Liberator Health Insurance.
Absolutely. And I would add to that also, Brian, for everybody to be watching, Greg will have a spotlight video on the difference coming up probably next week. It should be going live next week, and so that'll be running each and every week. So he can explain this better than anybody I have ever heard in the insurance industry. It is, I mean, I am insurance stupid, I'll be honest. And he made me understand it. I can't explain it to you, but I know what it means. So great guy.
Well, those listeners out there that if they know you can get it, Lyndon, I mean, that's
my point. That's my point. He could write the Insurance for Dummies book, and I mean, I could really get that without pictures. I could get it.
Well, good. I'm glad we didn't have to get a PowerPoint up on screen to walk you through that. That's good to know. Anyway, enough bashing on Lyndon. We'll move over to Michael and let him talk a little bit about his business and again talk about helping people out in a pickle, whether it's a business like mine with Real Property Management, or if it's your own home, or if you have a building or whatnot that you have as an investment. Michael and Dalworth offer top-notch service. I can speak firsthand about it because we've used them and they got us through a pretty tough time. So with that, Michael, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself, tell us a little bit about your business and how you can help folks in need whenever that need suddenly arises, which is what your industry is kind of based on.
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, really appreciate you guys having me on. I'm not going to lie, this is my first time doing this, so bear with me. So I want to thank Brian, thank Lyndon for having me on. Also, I know, Tony, that was a fantastic radio voice. I actually got told about 30 minutes ago, well, a little longer than that I have a perfect face for radio. So, we're tag teaming there a little bit. So again, my name is Michael Martin. I work with Dalworth Restoration. We're a independently owned, family-owned company over here in the DFW Metroplex. And I deal with emergency services. So what does that mean? So that's fire damage, water damage, mold damage, storm damage, and also because of the unprecedented times that we're in, disinfectant services as well. So kind of a turnkey when it comes to emergency response. What's really interesting is I've always been in the customer service industry. So I'm considered a commercial account manager, but really what I do is I work on behalf to make sure that we expedite the service, get everything done, and adhere to the timeline and the agreements that we had before. What I do for people like that is I create an emergency response plan or an ERP plan. So like Brian was talking about, I want to help you guys in a pinch. And the best way to do that is if an emergency arises, give me a call on my cell phone number, 682-300-9046. It's a completely free process where we come out, assess the damages, assess the situation, and really give you a real-time estimate and a real-time timeline. I hate to double it like that, to kind of present something for you to be able to get some light at the end of the tunnel. But it's crazy because I actually come from the restaurant business, so it's really weird. Laura was talking about helping out restaurants, and Tony's talking about IRS stuff, and I've unfortunately had to deal with both of those in the sense of being a general manager. So I understand how important it is to protect your assets by using people like Laura or Tony to help you get through some troubling times. But I want to do the same thing from a different type of service. So a lot of people talk about my business in the sense of a reactive side, hey, oh, pipe burst, give Michael a call, that kind of stuff. But Dalworth and specifically myself do so much more than that. And we do that through our ERP process. The way I describe it is if you were going to a doctor, would you prefer to go to a doctor that you've been with for 10 years who understands your blood type, history of diseases and infections and any kind of complications or family history that you might have? Or do you want to go to a brand new doctor and have them go through all the rigmarole? No. So I want to help you guys take a proactive approach in that regard. And I do that by creating a simple ERP process, which tells me, okay, who do I call? Where do I park? Who are your vendors? It's a really extensive program to kind of shore up everything and shore up our communication. Because at the end of the day, and this is real kind of weird to say, but time and severity is going to equal cost. So jumping on this on the proactive side is so important to help alleviate time, price, and severity, to be quite honest. However, I am in a reactive business as well. So if stuff hits the fan, you can always give me a call. Quickly, a little bit about myself. Again, I've been in customer service, restaurant industry for 12 years before I moved over here about a little over 3 years ago. So I really still help people out. And it's a wonderful passion of mine that continues to grow within myself. I also was an avid tennis player for about 18 years, and I was nationally ranked. So that was a fun time as well. So, it's about developing patience, and that helped with tennis, and it helped in the restaurant business, and kind of went over onto the Dalworth restoration side. So again, I appreciate you guys having me on.
Well, yeah, for sure. And another instance of patience, you're a Cowboy fan, so you understand patience quite well.
Yes, unfortunately.
Frustration and patience.
Yeah, we've had extensive conversation about that. Yeah, with me and Brian. He's a Bears fan, by the way. So the same boat every once in a while. But it's been 25 years since we've had some relevancy. So it's a little disappointing. But hey, patience is a virtue, man. Just got to stick with it.
Well, as a lifelong Cubs fan and a season ticket holder for about 15 years now. 2016 aside, I know patience and frustration very well from the baseball.
The question is, the $1 million question: is it worth it? Is it worth it? Was that championship for you worth it?
Oh, there's no question. I mean,
okay, well, there we go. The answer is that.
People who have lived their entire lives without seeing it, so it was worth it, no doubt.
Absolutely. And kind of going back a little bit, we talked about patience and stuff like that. And I know, Tony was talking about it, and so was Laura too. Another part of what I like to do for my clients and just anybody that's in need is, and this is specific with some of the issues that we've dealt with, Brian, together and the multiple other clients, is putting you in the right direction. So my services might not be needed, but just kind of piggybacking off what Laura said before, I have a lot of contacts. We have an extensive vendor list that we vet personally. My COO has meetings with them before they get to be on our vendor list. So if I can't provide you the service that's needed, I can definitely point you in the right direction. And if my service is needed, I'm able to take your hands and walk you through the whole issues that you're having. So for instance, from a mitigation standpoint, when you call your insurance company, well, sometimes the insurance company lets you choose who you want, but will push on who they want to send out. And the reality is you need somebody in your corner. You need a third party to come in and be able to unbiasedly assess what's going on and put you back to pre-loss conditions. And that's what I do. I'm a kind of a resource in your corner to best assess what's going on in your life, and whether that's a financial burden that you're dealing with an emergency, or whether it's going to be a too many hands in the cookie jar. I want to put you in the right direction. So
awesome. Well, and I can again say firsthand, you're in business development. You're not a sales guy. You came to us with some solutions as far as different parts of the job that needed to be done, and I'll speak frankly, we didn't take your services on each aspect there, but it was one where you weren't pushing it. It was like, hey, if you got somebody else who you want to do a remodel with, and that's all good. But you made that very clear. So it's Michael's great to work with. Dalworth is great to work with. Michael, how do they get a hold of you? I know it's scrolling at the bottom, but tell the audience how to get a hold of you.
Yeah, so unfortunately or fortunately for you guys, I am a 24-hour service. So my cell phone number is at the bottom at 682-300-9046. If for some reason, which very few and far between, I don't answer immediately, Our emergency number is 817-355-8625. And you can give that call. Of course, that's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But the best way to expedite service and put you in the right position is 682-300-9046 or michael@dowworth.com. Plain and simple.
Beautiful. Thanks for sharing about your business, Michael. Appreciate that. And that's kind of, again, what we're trying to do here is just get people acquainted with folks that we trust, that have services to offer in this crazy time we're living in, that, you know, you can trust, and you can literally just pick up the phone call and call them. If they don't have a solution for you, they can definitely help provide that. And that's really what I wanted to get across in today's show. So I thank all of you guys for joining us today. Hopefully you enjoyed your time on the show. Definitely great messages from all of you. So thank you again for coming on.
Well, thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you so much. It was great.
Absolutely.
Great experience.
Had a great time, great information.
Great. Well, thanks again. And guys, you know, we'll wrap up the show here. Because of the holidays, we're going to go on a little bit of a break. I think we're putting together a little Christmas party for next week. So we're going to record the show prior to Thursday, and then we'll air it on. I think we're going to air it on Thursday, right? Or are we going live, Lennon?
I think we're going to go live on Wednesday, and I may turn around and replay it on Christmas Eve.
Okay, there we go.
I'll probably do that.
So
got to fill that airtime.
That's right. And what we'll plan on doing is having other radio show hosts on The Difference and other contributors join us, and we'll just have kind of a roundtable, maybe a drink or two because it's the holiday spirits, and we'll go from there. But once again, thanks for joining us this week. Thanks to our guests for this for joining the show this week. Awesome content, awesome services, awesome people. So with that, we'll sign off for this week. Brian Poduska, Real Property Management Focus, where we focus on your real estate investments. Look us up. See you guys next week. Later.
The Difference is a proud supporter of the following nonprofits. Creek and Timber Legacy, providing outdoor learning, hunting, and firearm therapy for veterans, first responders, and children with serious illness. You can find more info at creekandtimberlegacy.org. And Sharp Shoes. Through local schools and shelters, Sharp Shoes helps provide new shoes for countless needy people and their families. You can find more info at sharpshoes.org.